Operation Moshtarak, the biggest British push against the Taliban, is underway. But you don't have to be at close quarters with the enemy to engage in combat. When you think of fighting on a battlefield, you think of soldiers fighting with machine guns or sometimes looking the enemy straight in the eye and doing hand-to-hand combat. There are some people who are very detached. They never actually get to see the enemy at all. They're known as the long-range snipers. Now, what is a long-range sniper?
We are a guided multiple launch rocket system. It's a rocket launcher capable of hitting precision targets from up to 78 kilometres away and hit something as big as the table behind you.
You're kidding me.
Or as small as the table behind you.
What's that, like 2 or 3 metres square?
Yeah. Textbook answer is 4 metres square, so 4 metres COP.
Now, that really is long-range sniping, isn't it?
It's an awesome capability.
That's twice the range of any of the Army's other artillery. So how do those rockets get airborne?
The FSTs, the fire support teams out on the ground, are the ones out on patrol. If they come under a contact situation or they identify the enemy, they can call in fire from us through our command post, which is behind us, and then we will then pass it down to the rocket launchers themselves. They will then go out onto the firing point and lay onto the target and engage the target, hopefully successfully within a very short period of time. But if you're
fire mission!
Fire mission!
Slot A2, a fire mission, a 1 launcher, out.
Operation Moshtarak troops have put in their first call.
4-0, a 1, a 0-3, a 9-8.
So Charlie 1, this is a 0. CPX, a fire mission.
For the safety of everyone at base, the Guided Multiple Launch Rocket System, or GMLRS, races out to a launch location about 1 kilometre away.
035-103.
Command posts like this operate 24/7, standing by for radio messages about enemy activity or contact.
3, 5, 4, 8, 1.
One officer obtains coordinates from the fire support teams, the other feeds instructions through to the launch vehicle. There's a fire support team, they're out on the ground. That fire support team must be under contact or see some bad guys doing something wrong. They are calling in like a longitude and a latitude, a grid reference. Once they get that grid reference, obviously they are just checking it back with each other. Because the rockets climb well up into airspace, the command post also has to liaise with passing military and civilian aircraft. But once a target location is confirmed, rockets can be fired within 6 minutes of the call from the FSTs on the ground.
Fire mission, 1 launcher.
ADM gone.
Send.
Send.
Each of the satellite-guided rockets contain 200 pounds of high explosive. They carry advanced computer technology for pinpoint accuracy to ensure the target is eliminated without destroying the surrounding areas. Thanks to the rocket system's accuracy, one GMLRS missile will do the job of several conventional artillery shells.
Ready!
Now, I'm heading out to meet the guys who fire the rockets and take a closer look at their deadly machine. The leader of the three-man crew is Bombardier Kevin Key.
It's got a top speed of 64 kilometres an hour.
Has it? So it's pretty quick. I mean, it's a big old heavy thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a 4.5 litre turbocharged diesel engine, which will generate now 600 brake horsepower.
In spite of weighing 24 tonnes, it's amazingly agile. It can move from rest at base to launch within 6 minutes. And there are very few places that it can't go. The weight comes from its incredible amount of defensive armour.
It's been modified for the environment in Afghanistan to repel the threat of mines.
Right, OK.
So we have what we call up armour, and it's concentrated. 5 tons of armour have been put round the cab just to protect
so
the crew.
Once you're out in this, you feel pretty safe, do you?
Yep. This has already come under a mine attack, and the crew were perfectly safe.
1, 2, 3. Up. And there's more protection inside too.
Well, these seats are collapsible. If you do take a blast, you'll sit where you are and the seats will just collapse.
And they absorb some of that energy.
Yeah.
It's got a steering wheel, almost, like a steering yoke. That's the kind of thing that I didn't expect. I thought it'd be 2 levers.
No, this is a steering tiller. On the old versions of track vehicles, we do have tillers that are, like you say.
I can't believe, for the driver, the amount of vision he has out of it. It's tight. It's like looking through your letterbox, isn't it? At home. I mean, is that part of the compromise when you're driving this thing around, or do they just get used to it and rely on the cameras all the way around the vehicle?
Now, the camera's like a night vision aid, really.
Yeah.
You can use it, but you want to keep your eyes outside the window during the day.
You want to just keep that. It's such a small point of view, isn't it? But the really impressive bit of kit is at the back. The launcher loader module houses 12 rockets, which can be fired individually or in multiples of 2 to 12 in just under 55 seconds. What are they like once these things go off?
Well, you don't feel too much in the cab, actually. I mean,
Really?
outside it's quite a bit of a blast.
The weapon has 3 types of fuse. A delay fuse for use below ground against enemy bunkers. A point impact fuse which can be used against armoured targets. And finally, a proximity fuse which can detonate 3 or 10 metres above ground for use against enemy targets in the open.
If we have a target that's 70 plus k's away, we can get to that target in 150 seconds.
Firing all rockets at once can potentially take out a whole square kilometre. It's time to head back to base, which means I can blag a ride in this beast. What's it like to drive?
It's easier than driving your car, it really is. The steering tiller is nice and loose. It's like having power steering.
What's it like to be the commander of a vehicle like this?
I mean, it's a great feeling. To know that within 6 minutes I can help the lads out on the ground from a station position back at the command post, out here, laid, with a rocket ready to go, and fire from a long range distance is an awesome feeling.
Such is the range of the GMLRS, its operators, especially back at base, never get to see their enemies.
The brave guys are the ones out on the ground. We're sat here listening to the radio, and we can hear when they come under contact. You can hear the gunfire in the background, and that is quite emotional times, because although we're here to do the job and support them as best we can, we are set back. We're quite a safe situation compared to those guys on the ground.
However well trained and effective they are, no modern war can be won with ground troops alone. In Afghanistan, aerial support plays a pivotal role, whether to act as an extra pair of eyes or as a show of force. Troops need to be able to call in speedy airborne assistance that packs a real punch. The British strike bomber is the fast jet Tornado GR4. The GR4 has been in action since the mid-1990s. Against the Taliban, the mere presence of the RAF's most effective ground attack platform is often enough to ward off assaults. But if it does need to flex its muscles, the Tornado's lightning pod is the weapon system's brain. It houses a laser designator for precision-guided targeting and delivery. But they also carry an awesome array of reconnaissance equipment. In the heat of battle during Operation Mostarak, Tornado crews are supplying ground troops with information about enemy positions and weaponry. Crews like pilot Goody and navigator Loza. OK then, Goody, talk me through the airframe. What is it?
It's a Tornado GR4. It was updated about 10 years ago. It's a twin-seat aircraft, a variable geometry it's called, so we can swing the wings and
swing the wings.
Here. Got a lever in the front cockpit, and we can operate them, and you can see they tuck into the aircraft there.
Oh, wow.
And that allows us to operate at considerably higher airspeeds.
How fast can you go? Go on, I want to know that one.
Well, it will go supersonic.
Wow.
That's over 1,000 kilometres an hour.
So in terms of engines, I mean, we've all seen movies like Top Gun. When they say we're going to go for afterburner and they push the throttle up, there's this big thrust and they sort of push themselves in the back of the chair. Is that real?
Yeah, you definitely feel the increase in thrust. I mean, it's a doubling of the power out of the engines, so it's a huge amount of power. And that's when these leaves open up and you see the big blue carrots come out the back, which we call combat power. It's about 34,000 pounds of thrust.
34,000 pounds of thrust.
That's roughly the same brake horsepower as 100 Formula One cars. The Tornado backs up its speed and power with a formidable array of state-of-the-art weaponry.
Loza, I'm keen to know all about the weapon system, so what can you tell me?
OK, what we've got here is one of two of our primary loads that we carry out here. What you can see underneath on this side is what we call our dual-mode Brimstone. It's a laser-guided missile that's designed for very small point targets, moving targets, that sort of thing. In the middle, what you can see is the Paveway 4. That's a mixed delivery profile weapon. What that can do is follow laser or GPS guidance. And that's all cued by the lightning pod on the other side of the aeroplane. Wow. So simply fire the laser at the vehicle and it will follow the laser all the way down.
Go to the point of the laser?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Here, using Brimstone, an enemy sniper has been targeted. The missile strikes his precise location, leaving the surrounding walls and compound undamaged, demonstrating the weapon's pinpoint accuracy, causing minimal loss of life. For close combat, there's the added punch of something a bit more old school. A 27mm Mauser cannon, capable of firing rounds over an inch in diameter at the rate of 1,700 a minute.
What's a typical mission that you'll be called upon while you're here in Afghanistan?
Generally, there'll be an urgent need for air support, so either our firepower capability or our ability with that big camera to look around corners for guys on the ground. So we'll be there with an immediate noise footprint, so the bad guys know that there's somebody in the air with firepower, then that's what we're there for.
And when the troops engaged in Operation Mostarak get into a heavy contact with the enemy and call in for help, Goody and Loza get the chance to put that firepower to the test.
So clearly something important's happening and they want to make sure the aircrew get off safely. The airframe was already burning when we got here. So that was all ready to go. They just jumped in the seat. They said they got to be airborne in 30 minutes. By my clock, we've only been going for about 4, maybe 5 minutes, and they're already canopy down, ready to go. Top work.
Wheels up, afterburner, flipping out, amazing.